Welcome to Missouri Sports Talk. I'm your host, Cameron Staley. Today I'm here with
Easton D'Amelia.
Easton. We got week of 5-4 graphics. We're into May. We are, it's the 6th today. We are 9 days away from playoffs.
This is when baseball gets good and your team has to get hot, right? Time to get hot.
So you beat me this week. You went 10-4. I went 9-5. It wasn't the most beautiful week for me. Class 1 really killed me. I went 1-3, and there's 2 games that were canceled in that one. We had 4 games overall that got canceled, and you'll see that as we go through the scoreboard. And we took a week off from rankings because we thought that maybe it was getting a little bit stale for you guys. I was seeing the like count go down, continuously the like count kept going down. So we took a week off from top 10s, and we will come back with our final rankings. It'll be a top 25 before the playoffs start. So let's go ahead with the scores from last week. Class 1, Maysville defeats Bramer 6-2. Wheatland is canceled. Putnam County defeats Atlanta 6-5. Wablo loses at home 9-1. Billings gets canceled, and Faith Christian last night an extra inning dub 1-0 over Northland.
I think I did a pretty good job in Class 1 rankings if we struggled that much to get them right. But no, there was a lot of games that I'm like, oh, this team for sure is probably going to win this one, that I was like, oh, you kind of look on the flip side. Like Northland Christian and Faith Christian, the game I was really anticipating for. I saw that one going either way. And it's kind of weird how the districts ended up with Faith Christian, the number 1 seed.
Right. So I forgot to mention that. We've got a few districts starting to come out. We got I think 2 in Class 1, 2 in Class 2, 2 in Class 3, 2 in Class 4. So we're in the early stages of districts being released, but yes, you did mention Faith Christian ended up achieving the 1 seed in that district. Northland Christian is the 2, and Bramer is a 3. So
that's a tough district.
It's a very stacked district. So the predictions for this week: Northland Christian. This one is tonight. I believe it's the 6th, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah. So Northland is tonight. Oran is tomorrow. Wheatland on the 8th. Cooter on the 9th. Brashear on the 12th, and Rockport on the 12th as well. I'm going to go with the Blazers beating Lathrop. Northland coming off a loss last night, going straight to another game, and this one's a Class 3 school. I mean, that's a tough turnaround, but they're scoring 6.7 a game. They're scoring 2.4, they're allowing 2.4 on average is what I meant to say there. And overall, I mean, this is a real good team, and Lathrop, I mean, they're just kind of floating around 500 this year.
Yeah, Northland, they come back after a loss. I think they're able to regroup and beat Lathrop. They've been up and down all year, so it's kind of interesting on their schedule because they'll have a good win, and they'll be like, how'd you lose to them? So I'm going to take the Blazers to win this one.
Oran versus Sykes, and this is a tough one for the Eagles. They are Class 1, obviously, on the Class 1 scoreboard. Sykes is a Class 5, so, I mean, this is 4 classes above. I'm not too worried about it, though. Oran's one of the best small schools in the state right now. They're scoring 9.3 a game, and they're allowing 2.2.
Yeah, Oran's number 1 for a reason. Sykeston has lost actually 5 of their last 6. So they're kind of struggling lately, so I'm going to take the Eagles.
Wheatland versus Halfway is our Class 1 game of the week. Halfway's, they're on a little bit of a slip. I'm not too worried about it, though. I think they'll turn around. Not against Wheatland, though. I mean, this Wheatland team, they're 20-4. They are coming off of a really bad loss to a 4-12 Pleasant Hope team. You don't want to lose games like that, and you got to make sure that does not happen again in the playoffs because you lose one game like that and you're done. So I do think Wheatland will get it back together against Halfway. They're scoring 10.6 a game, and they're allowing 2.6 on average this year.
Yeah, Halfway's 3-2 in their last 5 games. They've had tough competition, but I do think Wheatland bounces back after a loss that had me questioning where they should be ranked.
Cooter versus Notre Dame Cape Girardeau. This is the first time we've ever had Notre Dame on the channel, Easton. This is a Class 4 school sitting at 10-12 this year. No clue what their actual enrollment is, though. They may be a Class 2, they may be a Class 3, but since they're private, they do move up. They may even be a Class 4 and haven't moved up because their baseball teams haven't done anything crazy. I'm not 100% certain. I'm not too versed in the Notre Dame history. Obviously, it's the first time they've ever been on the show, so I think that shows that I don't really know a lot about them. I will take Cooter. Sorry to our debuting team. 7.9 runs per game for the Wildcats, and they are allowing 2.2. This team's really good, and they could make some noise in the playoffs.
Yeah, Cooter is on a 5 or 6 game winning streak. However, forfeits count. I mean, their win's a win, you said, but I really don't know how to add that for a winning streak. They beat Twin Rivers and Greenville during that stretch. I think they're hot, and they're able to beat Notre Dame.
Brashear versus Atlanta. If I'm saying Brashear correctly, let me know if I'm getting that wrong. If I'm right, obviously don't comment. This is their debut on the channel as well. I'm going to go 0 for 2 against the debut guys. Give me Atlanta. I mean, we got them at 3 right now in the rankings. There's a chance that they move up. Not certain if they will, because they have had a little bit of an easier schedule, if we're going to be honest. But, I mean, this is a pretty impressive team. I will take Atlanta. They're scoring 9.9 a game, and they're allowing 2.8.
Yeah, Atlanta's been dominant all year with their schedule. It's tough to see if they move up. There's some teams in Class 1 that have been doing some upsets that are going to affect those rankings when the top 25 come out.
Rockport versus Maysville. This is a fun game. Rockport's sitting right outside of the top 10, and Maysville, I mean, they're top 5 in Class 2. So I will take the top 5 team, even though Rockport's playing really good at home this year. Maysville, I mean, they're 6-2 on the road. So, I mean, I guess that combats it a little bit. They're scoring 7.7 runs a game. Wolverines, I think, can get on a roll before the playoffs start.
I agree with you. Maysville is a ranked team, and they've proven that throughout the year. I think they're able to beat Rockport.
Class 2 from last week, Bernie takes care of business in extra innings over Holcomb. Holcomb had an 0-3 week, though, so, I mean, they're 10-7 going into this game, I believe, and now they're sitting at 10-10. Valley Catholic, a very, very impressive win over Farmington, 6-4. Valley continues to show why they're the number 1 team in Class 2. Farmington, I mean, they just beat Festus, who we had ranked 5 in the Missouri Sports Talk rankings, the official ones. I personally had them at 9 in my poll. Easton, you and Zach ended up valuing them just a little bit higher. Farmington gets the upset at home. Canton, they don't have a game. Chaffee didn't have a game either, if we just skip one real quick. Ash Grove, they beat Pierce City 11-10, a very high-scoring game. And St. Elizabeth, they beat the tar out of Russellville 15-0 in the Russellville tournament. So it was on the Indians' home field.
Yeah, this St. Elizabeth team is showing their true colors. They've been dominant. That Valley Catholic game versus Farmington was tough to predict. I mean, Valley Catholic's number 1, but Farmington the upper class. So you went to a game, Farmington had a solid win. I'm really excited to see what Valley Catholic does during the postseason. And then Bernie versus Holcomb. Even though you lose 3 games in a week, it doesn't mean you had a bad week. It could just be a couple mistakes here and there, but Bernie proves they're a solid team again.
Class 2 for this week. We'll start off with Schuyler County. They are hosting tonight. Van Buren is as well. On the 8th is Crocker and Tipton. On the 9th is Polo. And New Heights on Monday the 12th. Schuyler County versus West Strand. Give me the away team here. West Strand, they're scoring 7.2 a game. And they're 7-1 on the road this year. So, I mean, that's a really impressive road record. I think they make it 8-1.
I'm going to take the Rams here. They're at 2-1 in favor of Commons over West Strand. And it's, well, I guess, one of the games we're going to call an upset, basically, statistically. But I think the Rams are pretty solid this year.
Van Buren, I think they get it done against South Iron, if we're going to be honest here. They're scoring 7.9 a game, and they're allowing 3. I think this is the first time we've ever talked about Van Buren on the channel as well. So I'm 1-2 with the debut teams this week.
I'll take Van Buren. They've played tough teams. They've lost. I mean, they lost to Valley Catholic, who we were just talking about in Greenville. They've also beat Bakersfield, Alton, Ava, and all in the Southern Invitational. I think they're able to win this one.
Crocker versus St. Elizabeth. Easton, the Hornets are on an absolute roll right now, sitting at 13-7. They just got a really impressive first place at the Russellville tournament. I'm sure you will talk a little bit about that here in a second. St. Elizabeth, I mean, I don't want to declare them state champs because I'm really riding with Iran this year. I think that's a really good baseball team, but I think that the Hornets will at least make the Final Four. I do kind of see them as the runner-ups, if I'm going to be honest. I'm not trying to put fuel on the fire to them right now. I am trying to say that I think they're a really good baseball team. They're scoring 7.5 runs a game, and they're 4-1 on the road. I think they make it 5-1.
Yeah, the Hornets are on a surge lately. And this kind of shows when you play that tougher competition early on. They played the Columbia tournament. They didn't really do the best. You play Class 5, 6 teams. You struggle. You make some errors. You're going to lose the game. Now they're playing these Class 1 teams where you have a little more cushion. You're facing a little less pitching. So I think this is a team that I actually think could win and will win the state title.
Tipton is hosting Windsor. I mean, the Greyhounds, they have a really nice record. They're sitting at 19-4. but I feel like they just play some really easy teams. I mean, like they beat the Fatima freshmen. That's just one example. Like they're playing some easy peasy teams. Tipton, they're playing a little bit tougher of a schedule. This is a really defensive minded team here with the Cardinals. They're scoring 5.7 a game, and they're only allowing 2.3. So I think this Cardinals team will get this one done at home.
Tipton dropped back-to-back to Southern Boone. Windsor, they won back-to-back. I think they take it 3 in a row. You say their strength of schedule may not be the best, but I think this team is good enough to beat some solid teams.
Polo versus Bramer. This is a rematch from April 19th, where Bramer won 18-3. That was in a wood bat tournament. I think Bramer gets this one done again. They are on the road, so that'll make it a little bit tougher, but they're scoring 8.3 a game.
Yeah, Bramer, they beat Wellington Napoleon last time out. Apollo, they're on a 4-game winning streak. They beat Maysville during that stretch. I'm gonna go against you here, and I'm gonna take Polo to win this one.
New Heights hosting Diamond. I'm gonna go with the New Heights Cougars. I think they've got a great team this year. They did lose to Wheatland very recently, but I mean Wheatland's a top 5 team in Class 1. New Heights are scoring 10.4 a game, so the bats are hot, and they're undefeated at home, 6-0, make it 7.
They faced earlier in the year. Diamond was able to take it 5-4. I do think they're able to do it again. New Heights played Jasper this week, and then their kind of schedule falls off. So I would expect both teams to throw their number 1 in their last game.
Class 3 from last week, Conway defeated Norwood 2-1. Mid Buchanan defeats West Platte 9-6. Seems like that was a pretty good game. Salem continues their domination against Thayer 10-1. Holden upsets Lawson 10-7. Easton, this was the one that you said that
I messed up.
You said Lawson may run rule it, and they lose. Fairgrove defeats East Newton 10-1, and Lamar over Jasper 8-1.
Yeah, that Lawson Holden game surprised me. I thought Lawson was able to bounce back and play well, but I guess I'm kind of overestimating what Lawson can do. I mean, I think that's going to affect this top 25 ranking. Mid-Buck, they're a really good team. And Conway able to get on the board for the first time. I think this week it was pretty cool to see a new team and then go 1-0.
Class 3 for this week, East Prairie, they host tonight. So does Pembroke Hill, Stockton, and Licking. Almost every single one of these games are tonight. Scott City hosts tomorrow, and Lawson on the 9th. I'm going to take the Eagles beating Bernie. East Prairie, they're scoring 9.6 a game, and they're 9-6 against Bernie since 2011. I think they continue that.
I'm going to take Bernie. They're coming in on a 3-game winning streak, 3-2 on commons over East Prairie, and I kind of like these common opponents, so I will take the Bernie to win this one.
The Class 3 game of the week is Pembroke Hill versus Summit Christian. Summit's on a 2-game losing streak, including a loss to Pembroke Hill last night. This is a 2-game series, and now they're at Pembroke. I think Summit bounces back. I think they're able to do it. They're scoring 8.3 a game, and they're allowing 2.6. So, overall, they've had a really easy schedule, but I think they get back on track here.
I think Pembroke Hill brings the brooms out and sweeps Summit Christian. They've had a pretty easy schedule, and I think as Summit Christian faces these tougher teams, you're going to see their true identity be on display. I'm going to take the Raiders.
Stockton versus Fairgrove. This one should be very entertaining. I will go with the road team here. Fairgrove, they're scoring 7.4 a game. They're only allowing 2.1. Defense is looking really good this year.
Yeah, Fairgrove on a 7-game winning streak. Stockton on a 4-game. Both teams coming in hot. I will take Stockton, though, to snap that 7-game winning streak.
Licking is hosting Rolla. Now, this is a very large class size difference. Licking is a 3 and Rolla is a 6. I was just at Rolla last night, and I was talking to Colton. I was like, Colton Piersmith, he's going to Nebraska center field. I was like, is this a rivalry? Like, I'm not, obviously it wasn't like disrespecting Licking or anything, but I was like, the class size, like, is this a rivalry? He's like, no, not really, because, like, we're just so much bigger than them. We don't play them very often. And, I mean, Rolla's 6-0 against Licking since 2010, I believe. Let me look back here real quick. Since 2010, Rolla's 6-0 against Licking. So they don't play very often, and Rolla wins every single one of them. So Rolla's scoring 7.6 this year. The pitching has been rough for Rolla this year, if we're going to be honest. But I think with a few wins strung together, they've got a tough little stretch here the last 5 games. If they can go 3-2 in these last few games, end up being 13-13 going to playoffs, they may be feeling good.
Yeah, Licking on a 5-game winning streak. They've played strong teams. They're a good team, but I will take the bigger class, Rolla. They've played the top teams in Class 5 and 6, and I really think that really gets you ready for these bigger games.
Scott City versus Chaffee. This is a massive game. Scott City, they're top 5 in Class 3. Chaffee's top 5 in Class 2. I think that Chaffee ends up getting this one done on the road, though. Scott City just recently lost their second game of the season. I think they lost their first and second game of the season here lately. They're 3-2 in their last 5. They started off the season 18-0. Chaffee's a little bit of the same though. They're 3-2 in their last 5 as well. So these two teams are looking to, stop the slide. Chaffee's scoring 10.1 a game, and they're only allowing 1.7. So the Red Devils pitchers have been great this year.
Yeah, Chaffee has had a tougher schedule, and their ability to bounce back after back-to-back losses really shows their how they can really persevere. I will take Chaffee to win this one.
We'll end it off with Lawson and Wellington Napoleon. These two teams just had losses this past week that we covered. Or no, we didn't cover the Bramer and Wellington one. Sorry for that. But Wellington, they're coming off a loss to Bramer, and Lawson lost to Holden in an upset. So these two teams are looking to get back on track. Lawson scored 7.5 game, and they're 8-1 against home. 8-1 at home, so I think Lawson gets it done.
I've been clipped once with the Cardinals. It's not going to be a second time. I'm going to take twice. I've been clipped twice.
The Lathrop game as well.
Oh, you're right. I will take Wellington Napoleon. If I'm 0-2 for picking you, I guess I can't do it. So Wellington Napoleon has been playing better lately. Lawson, they've had some bad losses. So I'm going to take the Tigers to win this one.
You know what's going to happen now, right?
They're going to win. I mean,
Lawson's winning this game now.
Well, I guess they do. It's going to be very disappointing that I switched my pick.
All right, that's all we got for today. Next up is the Rolla and Battle highlights. I'll have that up tomorrow. This has been Missouri Sports Talk. See you next time.